back to Comic Book ASMR. Today we're going to be doing a long overdue comic book haul, as well as showing off a bunch of collectibles. First we're going to start off with a dedication to John Cassaday. He just passed away a few days ago, so he's definitely an artist that inspires me. His first work that really spoke to me was the stuff he'd done in Captain America. As you all know, I'm a big Captain America fan. I did a reading of his issues that he did for Captain America. I'll leave a link below. They're whispered readings when the channel was earlier, so the quality is a little bit not as crisp as this. But I do want to encourage you to check those out. I just read each issue all the way through. And I believe there's 3 separate videos total. I read 2 issues in each one. But yeah, John's work was just really incredible, really detailed. There's really no mistaking it. He excelled in realism, making a lot of just like gritty, serious drama. I would often show people this Captain America run to just kind of change their perceptions about comic books. This was just kind of one of those really timely and brutal sort of stories. This was Marvel's reaction to whenever 9/11 happened. And this one, it took them a bit to put out. I know their first reaction was the Spider-Man issue with the black cover where he goes to Ground Zero. This came out, a little whiles after that. But yeah, it was one of those things that it was a big deal. And then like the first part, Steve's like right there on Ground Zero helping, and Nick's trying to pull him away to go on a mission, and he just kind of snaps at him there, and just really impactful stuff. And then later he did the Astonishing X-Men run with Joss Whedon. Yeah, just more good quality stuff. Joss has a knack for a lot of kind of like everyday dialogue speak, so the dialogue was really fun to read in all these books, and you got to see John's great art accompany that, and just kind of it felt like there was a little bit of inspiration from the movies stuff in a way, yet still making it comic booky at the same time. We had like the quietly stuff that was literally, with the leather jackets and all that, but I feel like this was kind of an extension response to that. And yeah, this was one of those books that was just kind of really fun to follow. There were a lot of delays, if I remember correctly. It was 24 issues, and it took probably 3 or so years for it all to come out. I remember waiting a bit between some issues. Some of the later ones, the first 6 or so, I know were coming out on time, but kind of the later ones took a bit more work from John, but his work was worth the wait, And then unfortunately I do not have Planetary. That was another really cool story that he had done, and all this stuff me and one of my good college friends shared with me. He let me borrow all of his Planetary stuff and read all that, and at the time I couldn't afford to buy these astonishing trades. I bought this first one before I started college, and then the later ones I would borrow from him, and then way later on I was able to pick them up. But yeah, John's work was just incredible, so rest in peace, John. There'll never be another like you, for sure. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the things that I just got from my local shop. And I'll pull from just kind of what I thought was kind of my favorite stuff that I read and go from there. So this was one that was really fun. Aliens versus Avengers. We have this Sab Arabic art here. And I've been following the Marvel Aliens and Predator books for quite a bit here. So it was cool to finally see more of the Marvel heroes interact with the aliens. I know we had the Wolverine versus Predator mini that I had showed you guys. So yeah, this is, more in line with that type of stuff. We get to see the aliens with the Avengers. So yeah, it's always cool when you get to see, IPs converge and they're able to make something cool out of it. So, but yeah, I recommend this. This was great. Kind of one of those things, as soon as they got the rights to use the Alien property, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for them to do stuff like this right here. So this has been quite a while that I've been waiting. What are we, a year, maybe 2.5, maybe 3, that they've been working with the Alien and all that stuff. So really neat. Next, this was a kind of a random one I got here. So this is Wolverine Revenge. This is the Capullo's new Marvel work that he's been doing here. We get the fun Deadpool movie variant, which of course I saw that with my son, my oldest son, as well as my middle son later. But yeah, this is just really fun. So the premise here is Magneto sets off a huge EMP that covers most of the globe, if I remember correctly. So this is kind of everyone dealing with the aftermath of that. One thing I noticed, Wolverine is smiling an awful lot in this story. I thought that was a bit odd, but I love Capullo's art regardless, so it's always fun to look at. I loved his work on Batman. And I love seeing him work on the Marvel stuff again, which he used to way back in the day, before Todd had him work on Spawn for a stretch. So really cool, really fun. And we get to see Cap in here too, Winter Soldier. So fun stuff. Next we got Absolute Power #3. And this is like DC's big event for the summer. And recently there's been a lot of these type of series that have just kind of fell flat for me. The art is solid. It's Dan Mora art. And Mark Waid's doing the writing. And it's all good. It's all good stuff. High marks on everything. Art's good. The writing's good. We basically got the heroes have been depowered here. Kind of blindsided by a lot of these big, menacing villains. Heroes being used against each other as weapons and stuff. It's been really impressive. I've really enjoyed reading this. So another one I highly, highly recommend. I'm sure it'll be in a trade suit if you're not picking it up. But yeah, definitely a lot of big moments in this mini-series. Check it out. Okay, so this one is the new Wolverine relaunch here, and this is the Gleason cover, which was my initial reason I got it. I love Gleason's work. So, excuse me a moment. Had tape on there, so I had to pull the cover. But yeah, so we got the nice finish on there. And solid art, all that good stuff. So this is Wolverine in the wilderness facing off against Cyber. Kind of one of those obscure 90s villains he's encountered before. who's got adamantium on him as well. And another just kind of high stakes, a lot of action going on, solid artwork. I don't know if I'll continue to follow. Like I said, the main pull for me was that cover because I collect Patrick Gleason's covers. But it's a good, definitely a good read, and I might get more of them. I don't know. Next we got Batman 89 Echoes number 4. Is this cool Michael Keaton variant cover there, and I mean that's the big selling point for me. I have been buying this and reading it, but this cover is phenomenal. One of my favorite things for the current series for sure. And yeah, this is kind of just continuing on. I feel like there's been more Batman in these than the original arc. So it's kind of fun to see what they do, and still they kind of do a bit of backtrack casting, so you get to see people in here playing characters. Like, what if this had come out in the 90s? Who would these characters be? And we get to see young Arnold Schwarzenegger here with a different role. So that was kind of fun. He's got the long hair. And then I really believe this is supposed to be Martin Short as the Riddler. I mean, I can't imagine who else it would be. That's who it looks like to me. So, and then Madonna is Harley Quinn. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. It's almost done. It's got 2 left, I think. And if you hear any cats in the back, I'm sorry. I can't avoid it. These videos would never get made if I stopped every time for them. Next we have Turtles number 2. And this is the Williams the second or third variant. I forget if it's Freddie Williams the second or the third. But very nice cover regardless. And this is fun. So this is the reboot here, written by Jason Aaron, and this is Raphael Albuquerque's art. I really loved when he did Detective Comics, kind of when I started out doing this channel. And so this is kind of continuing on with like a different focal point for each of the startup issues. This is Mikey's Where Is He Now? And he's been making big budget Japanese kung fu movies. And so he is really taking on like a celebrity actor role. And then, yeah, so he gets met with something unexpected, which he should be ready for, but he's kind of gotten soft with all of his fake fighting for the movies. He's kind of out of practice now, so. But really cool. I look forward to seeing what continues to happen with these Turtles books. And we got the Turtles Black, White, and Green number 4. This also features a Gleason cover here as well. And he even does one of the short stories. So we've got a cool one here. It's kind of got like a, like an ink painted sort of thing going on. Traditional Japanese style. Really cool. And then we got a thing that hits on kind of just some little touched on moments throughout the Turtles. Here we've got like movie homage, Eastman homage, the cartoon homage here. So all sorts of just little Easter egg nods, which they're not hyper obscure. I mean, they're pretty on the surface. Anyone who's interacted with these characters in the past 40 years has seen those iterations. This is kind of a unique style here too. Patrick Gleason's one here. I noticed he really kind of played up drawing April in kind of a sexy manner. Because you don't often see that, they kind of are very aware that it's like a kid's cartoon thing, but he's kind of highlighting the attributes there, so. But then we get a nice reference to the Turtles 1 and the movie opening shot there. And some other covers. And I think this was the last part of that. Okay, next is Detective Comics number 1088. And honestly, Detective's not driving me too crazy right now. It's interesting. Like I said in the past, I just don't know where it fits, and that just kind of bothers me from a storytelling perspective. It's just kind of all over the place. But I think the art is solid enough to really show off the book too. So even though the story's kind of weird and out there, and it is entertaining, but I just kind of don't know where it all fits in everything, and that just kind of rubs me the wrong way, And we got some cool moments here with Mr. Freeze in the picture, and then I'm trying to remember, there's Two-Face is in the fray again too. I know he was sworn off for a while. He had like a mask over that portion, and then they kind of reawakened Big Bad Harv, And and then there's the little backup mini story, which is, like I said, I'm not crazy on them because it's like, it really is a B story, It's like, why don't you just give us 7 more pages of the regular ongoing. And we got Batman 152. This is an Absolute Power tie-in. Nice cover there. And even this is just kind of odd. I know kind of the threats link up with Absolute Power, but it's a little bit kind of here and there for me. But we get Batman fighting Bizarro, which is fun. So let me move on to Black Box 2. Okay, we got Saturday Morning Adventures number 16. And I love that you've got all of kind of like the IDW threads. We've got Old Hob there, and they're all done in that 80s cartoon style. And yeah, they've just been continuing on doing like a full ongoing kind of epic yarn here with the animated stuff. So I really loved that, because kind of for a while this was more of a throwaway sort of a series, and then when they brought in this guy, and he hasn't been doing all of them, but he's been doing enough of these in a row that it's like, okay, and they're continuing, and it feels more cohesive, So I love it because it just looks like frozen frames from the cartoon, and you get more cartoon episodes, more or less, and now they've got characters, like I said, we see Old Hob in there. That's so cool. Next we have Berserker, the Lost Book of B. And these are just kind of popping up on occasion at this point. So the thing I like about Berserker is it just kind of has like an Assassin's Creed type feel to it. I think this is Lee Weeks' art. No, it's Ron Garney, my mistake. But yeah, so Ron's really solid, and all this stuff is kind of, historical fiction type of stuff. We get to see all these elaborate sort of cultural set pieces and stuff with the different soldiers and armors and combat. And it's just really cool just to kind of take it in and see all that. And it gets a bit brutal at times. Having Keanu Reeves have his hand in it. Even I'm sure at this point he doesn't do much with it, but it's neat to know that he kind of helped with the process. So we have a Turtle Source book number 4, which I'm surprised. I thought it was only going to go to 3, so. And yeah, you guys know it, just kind of more footnotes, character spotlights, kind of a good way to, condense everything down for people who are hopping onto the new series but want to learn about these characters. Yeah, so it's a continuation from the 150, so it's like a soft reboot, or, they're just trying to, get some more customer sales by saying, oh, if you feel overwhelmed by issue 150, here's issue 1 to get you started. You know how it goes. Common comic book company practice. So then we have the Best of Dark Leo, which honestly I'm surprised that they did this as well. I don't know how many more characters they're going to make with these. And even like the Dark Leo thing, there's not a ton. Like the issues included here probably are the only issues that had him rocking the black bandana, all that stuff in it. So this was whenever he was somehow got controlled into working for Shredder during the City Fall storyline, which was a lot of fun. I definitely recommend easily the first 100 of the IDW Turtle stuff. Really loved it. And this one here, hold on. And I got this back issue here. This is Wolverine 138 from back in the 90s. And I got this because this was, I did a video about the artist who drew this book. His name was Stephen Scott. And he lived where I lived and grew up as a kid, which was in the Biloxi, Mississippi area. I was in Ocean Springs, but born in Biloxi. And Steve Scott was a volunteer firefighter. And so they had like a career assignment at my school, what you wanted to be. And I interviewed Steve, the comic book artist. And he talked with me, let me check out his stuff. And he had a photocopy of this page here that he gave me. And Wolverine had tears that he originally had drawn. But the editor didn't like that. He didn't like Wolverine crying, so they actually removed those from this image that he drew. But so it's funny knowing that little piece that originally Steve had him crying, and they're like, no, Wolverine doesn't cry, we're gonna get that out of there. So I'll leave a link to that video too. It's pretty cool. It's an earlier one as well, but it spotlights Steve Scott's artwork and stuff, and just kind of, you get to see me earlier. I took a picture with him and stuff, so it's pretty neat. But once again, it's older sound quality, but it's a cool video regardless. Steve lives in Germany now, I believe. So, and this one I got for the variant cover, the Beetlejuice variant cover. I did see the new one with my kids the previous Sunday. A lot of fun. I would say like 7 out of 10. It's good, but it's not amazing. Definitely felt like it went on for longer than it should have. But it's entertaining and there's fan service and stuff. I thought there was maybe too many plot threads that were just kind of like abruptly hacked away at, you know. But yeah, this is in, I think, Superman 17, which you'll see in my other stacks. This book actually came out earlier in the month, like before this 2-week period, so you'll see that and the rest of my stuff. But next I'm going to jump to my collectibles, and there's a ton to get through. Okay, so I got the Punchline Joker 2-pack. So you guys know I love Punchline. What's funny is they did have another version of this with Punchline's card signed, and you can see this space right here is where the signed version of the card would go. So they used the same packaging for the figure, but just put the card here with the signature. So, but I pre-ordered this on Amazon way back in the day, and honestly, the Joker face isn't as bad as I originally thought it was. It's still not a perfect figure, and even Punchline looks, you know, off. But it's not a bad figure, but it is, you know, the first official Punchline figure, so that is cool regardless. Do wish the bomb came out of her hand and stuff as well. I got the Juggernaut and Colossus 2-pack. I've got them in here upside down, so sorry about that. But yeah, I got this right before I went to see Deadpool with my middle child. So, and then I got to use GameStop rewards on this, so I paid, I think, $60 for this. So I lucked out, and now I think I only need a few more X-Men figures before I start making my display cases like my Ninja Turtles that I showed before. Alright, I got the Batman Forever Val Kilmer Batman off of eBay. The one that came with the Build-A-Figure with the bat, I didn't like the paint, how it's like black here on the gloves and the boots, and it doesn't match the body. So I preferred this one where everything is matching. So I'll probably still end up going and trying to get the bat head and all that type of stuff. I don't know, I'm on the fence, but I wanted to make sure that I got this version of Batman, because this is a better version, I feel, than the one with the weird paint. Because with that one, the body looks like it's bluer too. I could be wrong. I've just seen a lot of resellers, their pictures of it, it looked like it was a brighter blue than this even, which maybe some of them just got cast in kind of a brighter blue or not. I'm not really sure. Because some people's videos, that one doesn't look too bad, but then their other listers I see online, it looks way more stark in contrast. So, but yeah, this is super cool. I love all the little details here. They did a really nice job. I wish this was wired, since the Robin one is wired. But yeah, these all just came from Amazon, like today. They were delivered. So here's the Robin one. He's got his nice wired cape. He's got alternate hands in the box too. A strange thing, this one for his crotch area, like his bottom butt torso part, it's actually like a rubbery sort of thing. So it's like, I don't know why they did that, but it's like you can squeeze it. It's really weird. And it's kind of like the same material that the suits were in the movie, that weird kind of rubberish sort of a thing. So my daughter was way more amused by that than I expected her to be. And then we got the Two-Face, which, yeah, these are so great because, you know, this movie, it's one of the ones that, you know, it gets dumped on a lot. I mean, I really love this movie a lot as a kid, and even now, like, I don't think it's too bad. It's definitely not as cheesy as the Batman and Robin movie, but, yeah, I still kind of really enjoy it. But to have them get the actual licenses, the likenesses right, like, this guy really looks like Tommy Lee Jones in there. They did such a nice job. Because, yeah, I had all of, like, the ones from back in the day, And then there's the Jim Carrey Riddler, which Jim Carrey was one of my favorite comedians. If you grew up in the 90s, he has kind of hold on the movie scene, which is kind of inescapable. And at that time, like, it was huge. Like, he had them all in a row, just kind of Dumb and Dumber, Batman Forever, Ace Ventura 2. Those were all, like, right, within a year, like, coming out the same year together, if I remember. So, just kind of really crazy. So yeah, and there's a lot of things like, I guess Riddler wasn't very good. It was okay. It wasn't too bad. As a more zany Riddler, I think very Gorshin-esque to me. Glad to have that one too. Continuing on, I found the Adam West Batman McFarlane at my Walmart. To get a nice little surprise, McFarlane had put out a bunch of Batman 66 figures already, but it's nice that he did one in like the scale of the multiverse series. So really cool. And he's got this nice wired cape. I was bummed the card that comes with it doesn't have this image on it. It should, but it doesn't. So just has like a QR code to possibly win a replica cowl. And this was another nice surprise I found at my Walmart. This was a figure that was initially bundled with the tumbler, which if you didn't have space for a tumbler like me, but wanted the Lucius Fox figure, then this was your opportunity. So glad that they did that for us. And there's the Batman Begins movie poster on the back there. And we got the big crazy dark side here. Wire cape again. I wish he didn't have that D emblem on his chest, but it's still really cool. I love that it's a bigger figure, My Superman side of my collection definitely needed its dark side for sure. So, and we got an extra head in there, some extra hands, and then the little beam is detachable there too, I believe. I haven't tried to pull it off. I don't want to break it, but just really cool. We got the Nightfall Azrael variant. So this is the blue one. They have a red one too, which I want to get. Yeah, he's already out of the box though, because I wanted to assemble his little blade cape here. And I had the previous one too in my office set up currently as well. So I'll probably just put this one next to him. But really cool, just, another improvement on the other one. The other one's good. I know there's features about it that are different than this one, but they're both cool, and that whole storyline is just kind of, if you grew up in that period, it was just kind of unmistakable, We're just going to go fast through these because these are already loose and they're kind of in a bin. So I got like the new Ninja Turtle stuff here. It's Agent Bishop in the mech there. We got one of these little robot guys here. We got the new Metalhead. Very skinny figure. Oh, this was kind of a cool thing. So my local shop, since I'm a huge Turtles supporter, the shop's got pins for just ordering a bunch of the Turtles new number ones, but my shop gave me their pin that IDW gave them to say thank you to the store. So really cool. They didn't have to do that, but there it is. So this is like a retail exclusive thank you pin from IDW, and they gave it to me. So really nice of them. And then there's just kind of odds and ends. So those turtles are like mix and match. You can pull off the pieces and kind of Frankenstein them. And then these are from the new line as well. These aren't mix and match ones, but these are like when the turtles are in the high school stuff. Here's a Mikey here with some cat fuzz on him. And then here's Raph. young Splinter with his felt fro. A lot of fun. And then my birthday happened during these months too. So my oldest son got me a little Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross. You know, he was inadvertently the godfather of ASMR. And of course, the first way I experienced ASMR inadvertently was watching his show and getting tingles and all that good stuff and being relaxed. So thank you, Bob Ross, to what you started and what we continue to kind of do. Some people intentionally honoring you and some people not. I'd like to say I'm trying my best to honor what Bob did, kind of the spirit of it, you know. And we got some New England Press tick buttons. So these are kind of older stuff here. I'm drinking this character which is called Red Eye, if I remember. We've got a spoon one in there. I don't know what that green one is. I can't really get to it. We've got the Chainsaw Maniac there. It's issue 1's cover there. So yeah, just $5 for all these. And then they had an actual box of tick trading cards, which I didn't know they had specific tick cards. And those are kind of my doubles in this box. But wasn't full. It had maybe 30 packs in there. Yeah, so here's the cards. So some of them are straight up like Ben Edlund drawings here, which is the creator and original artist of the tick. So I was able to complete a full set of the cards here. So yeah, some of them are art cards, and then some are like, you know, stills from the TV show. There's some character cards like El Cid down here, El Cid. Yeah, and then there's a chance to get, I believe, 4 chromium cards or 6 chromium cards. And then I got 3 of them, and they're all just images from the comic book covers. So this is what they look like. There's an etched texture on there. So yeah, these are just a lot of fun. And then there's a pack that I saved what it looks like. And then this is from previous. I had bought some Batman and Robin animated cards. And these aren't the best quality, obviously, but they were nostalgic. I bought them when I was a kid. And so I was like, oh, I think, you know, I got this set. It's not all complete, but it's mostly complete. And I don't even think I paid $20 for it or something like that. But one of the cool things is the special cards here are these little like pop-up cards. So this lays flat and then you pull like this. And then it stands up like that. So kind of neat, something you don't see often. So even though I don't have all of like the base set, I have all of the 3D special cards. And then these are the Kirby cards that I had already showed off before. And then I recently they did a reissue of the old school Superman bubblegum cards. This is from, I think this is reprinted from the 80s. Let me pull one and see what it says. Okay, yeah, 1984 reprint. So, yeah. And then the originals, I'm sure, were probably, let's see what it says. Does it say when? I don't know. Maybe 50s or 40s. I don't know. But yeah, we have some classic Superman art for sure. And then that's the full set of those. So got some superhero inspired Squatch soap. So they just released the Wolverine Adamantium Scrub as well as the Ninja Turtle Cowabunga Cleanse. This one smells really good, kind of like a leathery sort of smell, and it's a little bit sweet smelling too. This one is not so great. It smells like pizza dough and herbs. It doesn't smell like the pizza sauce that you typically find with, like, you know, when you're getting like pizza flavored Pringle chips or whatever. That's what I was expecting. What we get is something that smells like the dough and then like herbs. It's kind of odd. And then I got like the Lush products that they did. They did a Ninja Turtles collab with the Lush soap company. That's usually in the mall and stuff. But I don't know where those went, so. But those are cool. You can check those out too. But I have a link. If you buy Dr. Squatch through my link, I get a little reward for your sale, and then you get a little percentage off too. So do that if you're interested in these soaps. And hopefully they're still in stock. I don't think the Turtles one is, which is okay because it's kind of strange. But the Wolverine one is really good. It smells really good. So, and I got the 40th anniversary original sketch raff. They didn't have all 4 of them there on site. And when they say, oh, the sketch is included, it's literally this. But it's on a piece of cardboard that's like as big as this back of the box. So that's what they look like all together, and they were missing, I think, 1 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 4. I can't remember, but I was like, well, Raphael is my favorite turtle, so at the very least I'll pick up Raphael. And then I never saw any of the others at Target, which I think this was a Target exclusive, but I'm just glad that I have the Raphael, if nothing else. And then I got my shop just got new management. Basically, the guy who was kind of like the manager of the shop, he's now the owner of the shop. He bought the shop. So one of the things he has, basically, one of the things people do stuff on consignment there. So one of the things they'll bring in like their toys. And even though this had been previously open, this packaging is still intact, and so they put it on the shelf and they'll market it opened in box, and so you get the presentation of it like how it is on the shelf, but it's been previously opened, so it's not as valuable, but it's whatever. So I got all of these here. I might show the picture of them on my shelf, and then I've got all these other ones too. Basically, I completed all of the original Jurassic Park wave of figures here. So, and if you'll remember, the cool feature here is this pulls out, and then you get to see some blood and bone, the dino damage as they call it, which I'm not going to wrestle to put that back in, but that fits right back in. It's pretty cool. Here's the Triceratops, his own dino damage there. And this one I actually got on eBay. And then he's got a feature where you squeeze his belly and he does a headbutt. Here's all the rest of them. So there's the electronic Dilophosaurus. You pull back on his arm and he makes noise, but I've got to get the batteries changed. Same with the raptor here. He does like I think you pull his legs back and his arms move out. Yep. The Dilophosaurus, you squeeze and water shoots out of him there. This weird little guy here. Old raptor. And yeah, me and my brother, we had these when we were kids. I'll leave a link to that video too. Maybe it's not even ASMR. It's kind of soft-spoken-esque. But it's an early video I made, just kind of to tribute my older brother. We loved Jurassic Park a lot, so I remember the bigger one with kind of the cloth wings. And everything else, I've got all the humans. Muldoon, Grant, Dennis Nedry that did not look like Dennis Nedry. Wave 2, Ian Malcolm there. Tim Murphy, who looks like a young Leo DiCaprio. Ellie Sattler. Looks nothing like the actress. And some copies. And they're like bendables. Then I got the Deadpool PS3 video game. So I thought this game was going to be shorter than it was. So I, played it thinking it was going to be 5 hours long. It ended up taking me about 10 hours to beat. So I accidentally stayed up till like 5 in the morning in the middle of a work week to play it. So not the best decision. But it kept feeling like it was about to end, and then there was another piece to the story. So I was like, okay, well, I might as well just finish it, So, but it's a fun game. Like I said, it's short, but it's enjoyable. And definitely get it for the cheaper way if you can. I don't know if it's worth paying, $100+ for the collectible with the slightly better graphics. Not really. Okay, so now we move on to the last leg here. And we'll move kind of faster with this. So this is the superpowers variant for Batman. I think this is, 151 here. The Ra's al Ghul battle. So this is the previous issue. Batman fighting Bizarro. All this good stuff. Which honestly, like this part reminds me a lot of the other one. But I mean, I guess it's cohesive, to say the least. And we have Detective Comics number 1087. So this one features more Two-Face, I believe. And the other one features more. No, there's quite a bit of Mr. Freeze in here too, I guess. But yeah, I remember there being more Two-Face in there. But yeah, art's good. I just don't know where the storyline fits. And then there's a fun backup here with Azrael. And then there's Absolute Power, number 1 and number 2. I'll show off number 1. Like I said, the art's really enjoyable. In this, we just kind of see all the heroes getting taken down a peg. The teaser that they showed in the comics is Superman getting shot out of the sky. Right here, this image. He's just trying to talk to these crooks here, and they shoot him, and then he just falls. So yeah, a pretty huge way to open the story up. And then we have World's Finest number 29 and number 30. And so this is about their first mission together. This is not Dan Mora art in here, I don't believe. No, it's not. So, I mean, that is one bummer. I think this is the first issue that isn't his artwork. But they do their best. And, I don't know. This looks like Bond villain to me, but I know that's not. I think it's just a Bon Vien, maybe. She's been the colorist for all these, so that stays consistent. And we got Echoes number 3. And then, yeah, so this is the other part. More of the same, just, Michael Keaton Batman, Tim Burton Batman stuff. I don't remember there being any really big moments in this one, though. And we got Superman 16 and 17 in the regeneration suit. Makes an appearance again because he's been depowered, so he's slowly trying to get his powers back again. We get some fun with Zatanna involved. Very bright art style in here. And I think the artist I think this guy's been doing most of them. There might have been a few that he didn't do. Turtles number 1. This is the Eastman variant with the Escape from Alcatraz homage. And we see Raph is in prison, which I don't want to say the why or the how or any of that. I'll just lead you that to kind of intrigue you to want to pick it up to see why in the world is Raph in prison. Here's the standard cover. And then there is the Destiny of the Foot Clan. I think there's part 4 here too. No. Okay. And this spot, I can't talk. This spotlights Karai, kind of her continuing story. And we get this great San Luca art. Like I said, I think he's only getting better and better. We see stuff kind of more rounded and more fluid. As when he started, it was more angular, I feel. There's Turtles, black, white, and green, number 3. More fun mini stories here. Some more cartoony than others. A little Sin City homage. We get a Jock mini story in here. Yeah, that was a cool surprise. There's Saturday Morning Turtles number 15. Yep. Okay. Do a quick flip through there. Night Watcher number 1. So, and there's surprises in this too. I don't want to spoil those surprises, but it's a character from other iterations of the Turtles, and it'll be another spin-off series. They're trying to maximize all their Turtles books right now. It's another Berserker, face full of bullets, with some La Rocca art. Good to look at. And this is a Wild West story here. Clean line work as opposed to kind of the grittier, dirtier one you just saw. And we got some facsimiles here. We've got Wolverine number, I guess 88. This is him and Deadpool's first meeting here, and this is fun. Fun little meaning, lots of action, smack talk, lots of 90s attitude. And it's a facsimile, so it's got all the old ads. We get some Beavis and Butthead in there, letters page. And then we get the first Gambit appearance there. Same thing, so it's a facsimile. We get the ads and all the original stuff without having to manhandle your copy and get the grade to be down lower. This was cool. So one of the things, my shop, he's trying to alphabetize all of his books. So one of the days I went in there on a Saturday, and he had other people kind of helping. And so I helped them alphabetize some of the comics. And when they were going through, there was like a 3D run of stuff. And this was in there, so this was a thank you. Once again, they gave to the retailers for selling a bunch of X-Men books. And this is number one's huge gatefold here, but as a giant holographic 3D card. So really cool. This is, once again, one of those things I was surprised by. I didn't know it existed. And I got it for $5 lower too. The other one, they found a few of them. The other one we put out at $30, so got a little price break on it. And then they fed us pizza and stuff too, so that was cool. And then there's this random 3D story that featured Cerebus, which I have the whole run in trade form. So I was like, oh, another Cerebus issue I don't have. And then we got Superman Red and Blue in 3D as well. That is going to slide. Alright, we got this. And from what I understand, this was packaged in with a board game that they had put out. And so it's like files. It's kind of here and there in the mansion and things like that. So kind of unique. I just noticed and like one of the trades, they reprinted this material. So it was just like, oh, I remember that they tried to put this in one of the trades. And I had all the other issues or whatever. So I'm just like, well, I still want to see this content. And this was only, I think, 10. Yeah, it was only $10. So figured why not. Next we got the run of Batman the Cult. I had seen that they're going to reissue this full trade for like Halloween time, I guess. And when it got my attention, then I saw on the shelf they had all the originals packaged up, and they've got the, you know, the 3D textured covers. And yeah, this is, you know, classic Batman stuff here. Quality story, quality artwork. Couldn't pass it up. I've never read it, though. I've heard of it. So I jumped at the chance. And I think I only paid $20 for the set or something too. So once again, just, you know, one of those neat little opportunities. And of course it's, you know, the early print, so you have the charm of how it was before it gets even more smoothed over and remastered or whatever they do to it. So and then we got the Wolverine Weapon X trade. And some of this I have in loose issues. I don't have like the Marvel Presents or whatever. Yeah, I don't have the Marvel Presents stuff, but I have some of the other issues. But this is pretty much a Wrightson or a Windsor Smith spotlight here. So we get not just that story, but we kind of get like some covers that were done later, and we get a few like original pages in here and things. So really cool. Some other images here, cover gallery. But Yeah, they actually had this set of the original books, but it was like $200 for the full set of all of the originals. But I have like 205 here. But as far as the Marvel Presents stuff, they had that set at my shop for around 200. I was like, I can't do that. I would have loved to, just because, like I said, I like having the original stuff. Just kind of like, this is just, the colors are so brightened up and everything, and kind of you get a different feeling from this than the original paper tone and all that type of stuff. But this is still good, and you get to kind of see more of the line work. His stuff kind of gets muddied a bit when you're looking at the original comics, because there's so much line work that kind of gets, blended with the paper and the coloring. So it's nice to see that kind of shine here. But as far as the brightness of the color, that's kind of where it's a little aggravating. But regardless, it's still very enjoyable, and I'm glad, once again, this is a story I've heard of, and we've seen referenced over and over again and stuff, but I've never actually sat down and read this storyline proper, so I'm glad I own it. But I think that's it. Let me know what you guys thought. What was your favorite thing? What's a book that maybe you're reading that you want to maybe see me pick up or something like that? Let me know. Hopefully we'll be doing more of these more frequently. Again, we'll see. Stuff has just been hectic. As you know, I'm not trying to make excuses. But I'm glad you guys continue to support the channel. It means a lot to me. It honestly helps me keep going. It gets tough sometimes, in all honesty, but I know that each of you subscribers, like you, help me want to stick around and do my thing, so I really appreciate you. And that's it for now. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click those links, see those other things. And as always, you all have a super slumber. Thanks. Bye.